Okay. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you, God. Uh, and I thank God. As hard as it is to say that sometimes, especially during this time, and I know it's gonna get worse. So I'm thanking God now because at the end of the day, there's a life that's worse than the life I'm living, or that I will even live. It's the life of this low life. I just gotta be thankful. And this trash, the contracts. I'm just thankful that I never somehow got the opportunity to partake. Listen, let me just start off with why I'm saying this. My videos at this point, you have understood that I describe myself as a target individual, like so many others, and I've understood what it is. And I want to thank also everybody who provided some kind of informations, testimonials in regard to what's happening to them. This helps me understand what's happening to me. This makes me stronger in the sense of dealing with what's happening to me. It's not changing what's happening to me, but at least I can deal with it in a better way. And people like Robert Duncan um, have done so much good things for us, Target Visual, because the knowledge and the understanding of what's happening helps us deal with what's happening. We become stronger and deal with the torments in a stronger way. And when you understand that you're not the only one going through that, it gives you a strength that perhaps you won't deal with if you didn't know that. Whatever horror I'm going to go through, I know there's people much more vulnerable than me put in this program, being destroyed, tormented. So when I feel the pain that they make me feel, I'm imagine the child going through that because it's happening. Imagine a defenseless woman dealing with that. So who am I? So I find strength in that and deal with this pain. And when I hear involved, and I hear these people that surround you, and I understand like this is because this technology is that sophisticated, and really, who's in charge of this? It's not this retard that you hear. It's not these people, and I'm sorry for using that language, but I don't know with the level of just idiocy that is utilized onto you to break you down, and they do that on purpose. They truly want to agitate you, and even the childlike people are asked to be even more childish, and even the adults people are supposed to be these childlike individuals. So the word retardation is something that just the best word to describe what these people try to push you like project onto you, because you know the goal is to gaslight you. Now when you understand that gaslighting is to gaslight somebody, you truly have to act in a certain way. You have to like present a reality in certain ways for the target person to accept this false reality. Gaslighting is trying to reconstruct reality and make you accepting of this false reality. So as a gaslighter, you have to really push this nonsensicalness onto somebody. And so as a gaslighter, you have to dumb yourself down. You have to be an idiot, understanding that this is an act. Or I have to really own this to create this false reality. And I see these clowns, and they sometimes get so lost in that false reality themselves. It's like they gaslight themselves into thinking about this fantasized reality, even if they're the one literally implementing these things. I'm like, I have no problem reminding you of reality, of deprogramming you from the stupidity of reality that you put together. Even me saying reminded, they try to create the storylines. They live in a falsified, fantasized bubble in order to break you down, because that's their task. That it is their task to make you lose your sanity, lose conscious of who you are, and make you accepting of these manipulations. And so they truly become these freaking retards. And I'm sorry for using that word in that sense, because I know this mental. I'm not trying to insult people who are um, handicapped, but these people are not mentally handicapped. That's why I call them retards. Target Vigil, I hope that my voice helped you. I hope that I can help you, because I know so many testimonials have helped me, and these people who are Target Vigil don't even know they helped me. But with that being said, it's not changing what's happening to me because I understand what this is. As a target individual, I understand I am a test subject, which the government, the Department of Defense, is using this weapon system onto us, not just to harm us. They won't allocate that much funding to just to destroy your life. Who are you? The destruction of your life has a purpose that is meant to develop this weapon system. Target individual, let's be logical and rational. The amount of allocated effort to do these harmful things to you is obviously because there's a benefit. The benefit is not the destruction of your life. Who benefit from that? Just for your destruction of your life. That's not who. You're not any. Most of us are just nobodies, and I mean that in the most respectful. We're not people who with us here or not here. It's not changing anybody's life except maybe your family. So the reason why they're allocating so much effort onto doing these horrible things to you is because there's a benefit, and the benefit is obvious that there's some kind of this kind of development of this weapon system, of this technology. That's the reality of it. These people dumbing themselves down. Some of them are obviously, for me, there's some very childlike people. There's people are clowns, but you clearly understand these people are just really just childish. But there's people who are just professionals, who have things to lose, who have acquired things in life. They have much more to like, and you see them dumbing themselves down. You think they will be this dumb? Just no. It's because they have benefits, incentives from participating in this. And so whatever ways they try to paint reality because they know they compromise, because they enjoy what they're part of, it's clear that they want to continue to benefit from this thing, enjoy whatever they enjoy from this, but live a deluded reality, wanting to take away the accountability of what they're part of. So they start creating a falsified reality of what this is about, as much as reality shows them what they're really part of. They have no shame. Zero shame. Zero. They become human clowns. And that's my job at this point. And that's why I say, I got you. Because I'm going to put the reality in your fucking face. I'm not going to let you go into the deluded way you can make my brain go. I'm going to put the reality in your face. From what you're really part of and why you try to relieve this fantasized reality. Because you know what you're involved in. You know the reality of what this is about. You understand what this is truly about. But you want to enjoy what you're doing, living this fantasized reality. And I refuse. Target individual, find yourself lucky that you're not one of these people. This is the words I want to keep saying until I lose my voice. I know these perps have to watch me say this every day. I know it's not going to change what's going to happen to me. Matter of fact, I think it's even going to get worse because I put the reality that they try to escape from every day. And I know my voice is just fading away. This is okay. If I lose my voice saying this to me, I think it's dignified. I'm a target individual. And as a target individual, my brain and my body is being destroyed using weapon system. Weapon system technology that one might call it the 21st century weapon system, where using this sophisticated technology, they can do all kind of harm to your body. It's funny today they're creating this theatric torture, like where they're gonna be like they're gonna attack you, when right now I'm in my bed, my body is being destroyed, and they're really taking it easy because they could do so much more. It's just they want to create a theatrical of, oh no, with you we just make you gotta pay, you get this and that. So to me, I understand the reality. So that's the way they say. That's like, oh my gosh, okay, they're gonna stab you. It's gonna be iron knife. Can you imagine the things they've done to my body, or with not a single person just doing anything to me, like physically? My muscle completely atrophied. I'm like wasting away. My organ is just completely just rotting away. Bones are just getting reconstructed. spinal cord, and they talk about a knife. You understand the theatric and the creation of a theatrical aspect of things just to create the fantasized bubble that they put together. I refuse. I refuse to give them that fantasized reality. They're gonna face the reality of what they're really part of. I have accepted reality for what it is, and understand the rest will be theatrical. As a target individual, I'm dealing with the technology that is destroying my organs, running my organs away. Right now, they tell me I'm festering and all that. It's because I can feel my organs just really just something there just rotting away, and it's because they've been damaging my organs, not because of a knife. It's because this weapon system. You understand? My targeting is involving people who just try to paint the false reality, delusional trash, as they've destroyed my organs. With obviously weapon system coming from the Department of Defense, because this is the entity behind what's happened to us. These clowns that you see here, these are just people they just contract to implement this. You think these people living around wherever you are? I live somewhere in New York. I reassure you, this is not the people responsible for what's happening to me. They might be participating, but they're not responsible. And I understand that there's a tactic of creating a distorted reality, a psyop of some sort, to paint this fantasized reality, to make you believe this retarded rationality. And you understand, okay, they just want me to think that this is anything but this massive government that has been doing that for years to so many people all around the world. This is global. I knew that immediately when I left the country in 2019. Oh, everywhere. I was in the airport in Brussels. Could hear these people talking to me via V2K. I was in the airplane in Brussels. At that point, I went to a third world country in some kind of like remote area there. So at that point, I knew that it's gonna follow me everywhere. Then I found out the target visual. Oh, and I say myself, this is happening to men, women, and children all around the world. So I've accepted reality for what it is, and the reality is also my brain is being manipulated disturbingly, because that's a weapon system onto us. Maybe at some point this will turn into something positive, but right now this is meant for tormenting target individual. The disturbing part is sometimes they make us sick target individual, they destroy our organs, then treat the things that made us experience. Meaning destroy your organs and then change. And that's the body. Psychologically, they're just forcing you to have these disgusting thoughts. Reaction, stimulations is always negative, and it's manipulated in this disturbing way. The tactic they love to utilize is the pedophilia type of torture. That's what they do. For me, it's nasty. Sometimes, to convince you that it's you, they do these things where it's weird. For example, listen, I am not a perfect guy. I can look at women in sexual way. I'm not gonna lie. I will never. I do not want to present myself as this saint. Of course, I'm not. Matter of fact, I prefer to not be seen as a saint, because these trash participants are all pretending to be like, oh, nah, chill. Like, it's so disgusting. I'd rather be this flawed man that didn't participate in a program that does these atrocities to even children, than present myself as this like, oh, this like avenging good person. No, this is the worst. So I've looked at women in sexual ways, and I've looked at women, for example, at the gym and working out. Not too long ago, there was this like prank thing, and there's this like, I guess, what I would think like young adults wearing like yoga pants or something like that, and I could feel my eyes being forced to look down. And so, you see, you've done that before. I was like, yes, but you're forcing me to do that right now. Because they've done these things where they even do that to children. And they want to do it, oh, we're mapped it. It's nasty. It's like, you see, but you've done that before. It's like, of course I've looked at women in sexual way many times. Do you making me have this happening right now? And they're like, oh, but the pedophilia, then so you've experienced that. They have this disturbing retardation of wanting me to rationalize this manipulation. Because what's happening is today they're forcing me to have this nasty reaction to these babies. For example, 2 second last night especially, there was this black little girls. When they do this little thing, this reaction toward black little girls, I'm supposed to think now what we're doing is you feel like that, and this is so disgusting. They are literally this perps, you not even this program is trying to like make you acceptive of these manipulations, and they have like rewire your brain and try to concoct reaction stimulation, and it seems like your brain is just their field of just work, of just manipulation. How they can play with your brain to get at some point accepted of this manipulation. And then they have these perps around you that's supposed to aid the manipulation by gaslighting you. Every time they do these manipulations, like, oh, you're gonna be castrated, you're gonna rot in jail, you're gonna do this and that. The things they say is not to inform me of that. By the way, they say that because they're gonna frame me using children. So that alone, I'll get to that. That alone should give you an idea of who's in your brain. So once I'm forced to think this way, they start saying things to deflect and try to make you accept it. For example, if I wanted you to believe something that I myself doing to you, I'll make you experience something that I'm controlling, make you think in this certain way, and then as soon as you experience that, it's like, oh, you're gonna die in hell, you're gonna rot in jail, they're gonna castrate you, they're gonna do this. Why am I saying that now? It's simple. It's because I'm trying to make you believe that what you're experiencing is happening organically, and I'm mad because you experienced that. Now I'm telling you what you're going to experience. Do you understand the psychological tactics they use? It's systematic and it's obvious as it gets. I put something into your pocket. You see this in your pocket, and you're gonna get tortured. You're gonna scream. You're gonna yell. They're gonna rape you. They're gonna do this. What am I trying to do? I want you to think that what is in your pocket is now me putting that in you, but you should feel guilty for having that in your pocket. Even if I'm the one who put that in your pocket. That you looked and you saw something that they put in. So with me, it's the same thing. They make me have this thought. They manipulate this thought process. They create this thought. They create this stimulation sensation. And they're like, oh, no, that's big die, rats. And then they create this rationality. No, but what we're doing is like, we're mapping a paired. It's mapped. When the truth is, they're just altering they're changing your brain for you to experience that. And the rationality gets even more retarded. Excuse for using that language. It's like, no, but when you were a kid, you felt something like that. So what we're doing, we're just bringing this thing back that you experienced when you were a kid that time, and then we're making you feel like that's what it's mapped. No, even in their rationality, it's pure retardation. Can you imagine you look at grown-ass men and you say, no, but when you're 11 years old, you went to that place, you saw this kid this way, you felt the stimulation, so that's to you, we're mapped. Do you understand that's them being like, oh, just like we got it. And then when it sounds so stupid, they start saying, no, you feel like that, and then they start to implant it, into your like adulthood where you can freshly understand that this is falsified memories. And so concocting ways so for you can accept this manipulation. And for me, it's been with black little girls the most. They're like, oh no, but when you were a kid, that's how I start. When you were a kid, you felt like this weird feeling, stimulation sensation that they try to recreate in a falsified way. Make me experience it today as an adult. Then go into my memories when I'm like an adult and plant that there. It's like, no, but you felt like that, this. And they falsify memories and things like that to make me accepting of this. Which all start with how they try to kind of mimic and falsify a child memory, my childhood memories, and reconcoct it with in this fashion, and then put it back in my brain as an adult. And they have these clowns gaslight me. Now we're mapped and we're paired, and now you are rewind and altering my brain. And so today, when I see these black little girls and this, they come up, they make me experience these things, and then these perps contracting to gaslight you into accepting this. Say, no, our black girls, our little girls, our black girls is real. And then tell you, oh, you're gonna be raped and tortured. One thing they've done too is to try to gaslight me by, for example, I know my thought process are completely taken over. It's no longer my thoughts. I'm no longer me. So they will make me think, oh, but if that's the thing I was thinking, so what? And I know it's them pushing me to think this way. And then this childlike person come, oh, we got him. This is the type of mind games, psychological game that is forced onto us target individual. For me, making these videos is just to make them understand, I know you clowns are just changing me. And been doing that since August 19, 2019. I put that in their faces every day. So when they try to play the clown in front of me and look at their phone every time this manipulation is happening, it's like, I know you're just changing my brain to make me experience this. Even the rationality of it all is retarded. What I mean by retarded, to try to say, but you experienced that like that when you were a kid, right? Trash. So you're making me a mentally retarded individual? Even that rationality shows how stupid the level of no shame they have. Because as a target individual, they want you to start rationalizing this manipulation. It's like, no, even as a child, an experience like that. But you even try to rationalize that my brain is now being impaired to an experience I experienced when I was a kid. Shows how fucking retarded you want me to be. I will never identify with this. And it goes to like, no, but remember what you did as a child. Like, no, I'm not a child. And as a child, I didn't experience that. I'm an adult man. And I know as an adult man, I know as who I am, what I would experience naturally. It will not be none of these experiences. Now my experience has been destroyed. My experience are experiencing these nasty reactions. And I'm being in condition. It's been since, how many years? 5 years now? 5+ years of conditioning my brain in these ways. And my brain is fading away, so I can't even recall me. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And they use these retards who use this V2K typing voices in with their tonalities of just childlikeness and try to convince you. So now we're maps. We're maps. Like a child or teenage kid talking. No, it's you. Clown ass. For me, for example, I take screenshot of everything they do to me and I put that in their faces because I will never identify with this. I will never let them live this fantasy. There was this kid here. Let me just show. I don't know if you can see this clearly. See this little girl? They give me stimulation, sensation. She got her little arms and try to give me. You know what they start doing? They're not making me say that feel like they're pairing it with something I experienced while I was already being a target individual, like 2 years ago. You see, you feel like that. It's like, yeah, because you're in my brain, manipulating my brain. It gets to that point now that they're bringing up what they made me experience while I'm being manipulated, and try to make me experience this again. And then they're like, no, but okay, no, you just changed my brain, and you even bringing up what you did to me. When I saw this little girl opening up like this fridge, this tiny little black girl, this tiny little arms, just look, creates sexual stimulation intensity. As I'm saying that, they try, all the little hands try to go into this. This is the nasty retardation they do because they want me to accept these manipulations. They want me to go to what they wish that would happen when I was a kid, and they get mad, like literally like hitting something and just like with energy, clowns, to gaslight me to accepting this manipulation how I view these kids. And then when I see them, it's like, this is the trash I could be making that. I'm not being animated just for fun. They literally, when they want you to accept these manipulations and they rewire your brains, and for you to accept that the way you have to experience when you see this kid, and forcing you to experience this thought and manipulation right now because they say lower hands and start making me imagine something sexual with this kid. It's like, no, but remember what you did as a kid. I'm a grown man. And I will not see this kid in this fashion. And they try to find ways to make me, it's like, no. And it's not only this little kid. Then there's this little kid here. To try to force me to make me accept this, making me experience this. It's like, now we're mapped. Remember what you did as a kid. No. You didn't map it. You manipulate my brain. And just now making me, what they just started doing right now, make me think of what I did as a kid, try to create their version, give me the stimulation and say, you see, you experienced that. No, I did not experience that. And no, I'm not a fucking child in 8th grade. I'm an adult man, that you're manipulating my brain to experience this thought process, to experience these reactions, and you're using these clowns via V2K to try to gaslight me because your job is to make me acceptive of this falsified reality. But the truth is, this fucking lowlife work for governmental entities that I love to say this. There's a bill called End National Defense Network Abuse Act. This bill is because these governmental entities contracting this trash to make this noise campaign with like the passion they have. That they will hit something, even making their voices like they're just angry. They work for governmental entities filled with fucking pedophiles. How do I know that? What they have to deal with every day at this point on, as they stimulate me towards kids, is this. The governmental entities running this program, like I said, is obviously not these fucking retards living here. It's this.
Has come under investigation for links. Has come under investigation for links to the proliferation of graphic material called Project Flickr. Some 5,000 individuals have been identified as having subscriptions to child porn sites, including many DoD-affiliated persons. So this ongoing national investigation has now prompted the House to introduce a bipartisan bill that would help the DoD stop the use of its network to, quote, possess, procure, or produce child pornography. Joining us to discuss this, investigative journalist Ben Swan. So Ben, the Pentagon already takes measures to limit worker access to stuff like porn by rolling out what they call the Personal Electronic Device PED policy, where workers have to drop off their phones and lockers before entering their offices. All their online searches are accessible by security if or when needed. Their Wi-Fi access is monitored in digital security suites. So how is this happening?
Well, it's happening because even though there is a certain amount of limitation on access, those who are working in the Department of Defense, clearly it appears to be thousands of individuals in the Department of Defense, are finding ways around this, specifically by using the Department of Defense IP addresses and also apparently peer-to-peer sharing within the department's network. So this study that was done on this issue, and it is pretty horrifying, Manila, to consider this. It shows that the Department of Defense ranked 19th out of almost 3,000 networks in terms of peer-to-peer sharing of child pornography. That is absolutely incredible.
This is the reality. In my brain, they were trying to say, no, but you see, remember what you did as a kid and this and that. First of all, let me just give you an idea of the age that they want me to think that. Matter of fact, is before that was like even younger, but now to just bring up the act of a child that age. That's when I was this age. That's what they might pay my brain to. I do that on purpose, just to let them know how retarded you want me to think. That I will see this little girl in this way, because they're making my brain this way at the age of this child. Never. And now they're making me imagine, but remember what you did as a kid. See, we're mad. No, you're changing my brain to make me have this reaction to this child, to this baby, especially the little one that was trying to like holding or something. They're making me experience a reaction, stimulations, and they're making me think, no, but that's what you experienced when you were a kid. No, I did not experience that. It's like, okay, but her hands, remember what you did? It's like, first of all, you're falsifying that. It's not true. I did not use her hand. I used me as a kid at that age, did something to myself. But I'm not a kid, I'm a grown man looking at a child that you're forcing me to have this nasty reaction and then say the rationale behind this is we made your brain behind. That's proof that you're in my brain making me think in these disgusting ways. Because I'm not a child. But you know what's proof? Proof is this. That this low life, that clearly doing this.
Type voices into an individual's head. And once you can do that, you can control them using neuro-linguistic programming techniques. You're rewiring their thought processes and brains. And so this gets into what's called offensive information warfare.
You understand? So the way they make you think, and then the way they just try to implant thoughts, and it's just try to break you down using this cognitive technology that can, these cognitive manipulations that you're forced to experience because they can manipulate your brain and rewire your thought process in your brain. I didn't pay this man to say this. That's the reality. That's the proof that your brain is being rewired. And you have this trash that have been contracted to gaslight you into accepting this. They used to actually children too. It's just like fucking trash that don't grow up to be nasty. But I will not.
Language throughout the world to define the probability matrices of which tricks, techniques, deception works. So how do you control the brain? Most people don't.
So they're using us to continuously improve this matrix of like the tactics that are the most, I guess, efficient in what they try to do in regard to breaking somebody down. And the deceptive tactics and the trickeries utilized. And they use this trash. They in their mind, they think they're some kind of warriors. No, we're like guinea pigs to them. We're like just lab rabbits. And they can do whatever they want and force us to think in this way. I will never let them live this. And the tactics are systematic. It's not unique to me. It will never be unique to me. So when they do these things here and manipulate your brain.
Designed to interact with the human nervous system in order to remotely pick up on someone's neural network or EEG and not only receive that and monitor it, but manipulate it and place it back into the victim to control their emotions or control their actions or bodily functions for that matter. The other more recent term we have for that is EEG heterodyning or EEG cloning. The difference between EEG heterodyning and EEG cloning would be, let's say, me remotely receiving your EEG and then duplicating it and putting that in another person to give them your same thoughts or feelings or physical reactions. EEG heterodyning would be receiving your EEG, manipulating it to put it back inside your head to give us a desired physical reaction or emotional reaction.
As I was presenting that, you hear this child like trash, like they're gonna fix you well, they're gonna castrate it. I was like, I'd rather get castrated than live a life where I have to create this false reality. As I manipulate people to have these reactions. They use this childlike trash, a lot of them. They come in all shape or form. But for me, there's like a trend of like perhaps people with less in a sense of like just life just started for them. And they take that like a chip on the shoulders, like, no, we proved this so well. It's like, yeah, okay. They do this pedophilia thing so systematically that women can see this.
Here's what is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted.
That's why I call it pedophilia type of torture. This is a target individual who literally called it the pedophilia type of torture. This is what I deal with. But with me, when they do these things, especially with black little girls, no, but we mapped your brain, you see this and that, you feel like that, and they're like, oh, but remember what you did as a child. It's like, and then they try to imagine her little hands, and just try to imagine this black little girl little hands, and try to create this. It's like, no, we proved that, you see? It's like, no, you proved that you're in my brain, altering my thoughts in these nasty ways. Because this is what they do. They are forcing people in the same tactics to break them down.
It is dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of it. Like this disgusting thing. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I didn't want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know how they do it. I don't care.
In the surroundings, just like me. With me, they even try to exaggerate what it is. Now it's true. No. You wish that was true, because you want to create a false reality. And my childhood act now is for them to be like, no, but remember what you did in 8th grade, which you have to exaggerate to make me accept today reaction that I'm forced to have today as a grown man or grown adult. I don't care about my gender. With this level of validation,
this is a common breakdown tactic of belief systems and the human will. In no-touch torture, the techniques are more psychologically specialized for each target. Most common examples include homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds. And vice versa.
This is what they do. And by the way, what they do to children, oh God.
Ms. Catherine Nestor.
Catherine Nestor, and I'm from Pennsylvania. This commission has spoken of a long history of abuse of the human research subject. Although no one mentioned MKUltra today, President Clinton recently apologized for this. My young child and I have been used as non-consensual test subjects. We have been subjected to COINTELPRO-like stalking, remote neural monitoring, and electromagnetic torture, resulting in psychological and physical damage. And I won't go into the details of that because I have 4 pages.
They do horrible things to children. They know what they're involved in. I don't let them escape into a fantasized reality where they know we're mapping, we're trapping pedophiles. What? The entities running this program, we talk about these issues.
Daily scrutiny just going in and out of work. Is it fair then to the tens of thousands who are completely innocent to further allow that much more government intrusion into their digital devices or the things that they're dealing with on their computers?
Well, remember that what's being talked about here is not an intrusion into someone's personal device or even their home. This is about saying Department of Defense computers are being misused to share, to spread, to access child pornography. And when you step into an office, whether it's a Department of Defense office,
top tier amounts, a lot of it, as my brain is just being rewired and altered, and they're like, no, but we did, now we mapped it, we proved it, because no, I will never have this reaction unless my brain is being altered and manipulated and played with in order for me to experience this nastiness. I will never have an experience that way, just looking at this baby like that you're forcing me to think that. I will never have a reaction toward this baby unless you're in my brain forcing me to have these reactions. And they play with the libido, all your senses can be played with. And you have these clowns working in a program where they clearly torture children, little girls, little boys. They're forcing you to have nasty reactions, because at the end of the day, it's clear that they can alter your mind and force you to have reactions. These things is not unique to me, and this is the things they've done to others. For me, it's like I'm never gonna let them live that fantasy. Never. And they play with your libido in disgusting ways.
They use these monarch style torture programs, like it's based on sex and trauma. So they're gonna traumatize you, they're gonna use your libido to get back at you, and
they play with your libido, they play with your sexual arousals, and they can manipulate you to have this nasty reaction. It's disturbing. And then you have these clowns, they like try to convince you, no, we will map this. No, you have manipulated my brain. You're rewiring my brain. And then they use this trash to try to gaslight you. Using V2K. Remember the men who said piping voices? They pipe the voices and using different tonality. So they try to sound convincing. No, we mapped you. What kind of target individuals? They're strong and know who you are. Because they will try to convince you in the obvious manipulation that you are forced to experience as if you're not being manipulated. coming from entities that have this issue with pedophilia, where a whole bill was created because in 2018 they ranked top tier child porn traffickers. Tell my target individuals stay strong.